Good evening, everyone. Right now, it's 9:40 or 34 on January 29th. Another lovely Saturday. KK is performing in the plaza. If you like anything you like to hear, let them know. Hope you all have a lovely day. Ew, it's kind of melted. Alright, so, I know we bought an art. I think it was fake. Oh no, we bought Nike. It might have been fake. Yeah, we bought the Nike, didn't we? So here we are, back in the Animals Crossing. Yeah, that's all I got. So today, praise Helix. Yesterday we found out that we did a house. We did, somebody's house. I don't remember. Oh, Freya's. And then we found out, hey, guess what? The cafe has the ability, or the cafe's gonna get like like an upstairs gallery or something like that. And so I was like, oh, well, today we'll come do the gallery. Sure, that sounds like fun. Because I think we hit enough people or houses or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. So that's the plan for today. We're doing the gallery. Eventually, we'll get there. But for right now, we're getting fossils. I don't care about these. Let's chuck them in the river. Shan't we? Into the river you go. Oh, it was like... I thought it broke up in the river. No, it was like melting. Huh, interesting. Give me a minute. I'm trying to get a macaroon. And it's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I've actually never made macaroons before. Oh, gosh dang it. Now all I'm thinking of is the Great British Bake Off. I don't know why. Because macaroons are French. But isn't there like a... Maybe I'm just thinking of an episode of the Great British Bake Off where they make macaroons. And I guess that's a super memorable episode. That it trumps everything else. Is Donald Trump terrible enough of a person to have ruined the word Trump forever? Like, you know how Hitler is, like, such an evil person that he ruined Hitler? Like, you know. Except for, isn't there, like, a politician in, like, Ethiopia whose name is, Hitler, who's actually, like, pretty popular and whatnot? I swear I remember hearing that somewheres. Semantics. Or is Trump a terrible enough person to ruin the word Trump? Because that is a thing, right? Like, oh, to become so famous that, like, you ruin a word or something for everybody else. That's a thing. Again, I can only think of the one example, but it sounds like a thing. But yeah, what are we doing today? Yeah. Hey, Iceland Pop, how you doing? So you know what we are talking about today? Pokemon. You been playing Pokemon? I've been playing a ton of Pokemon. Why is there a grave on top of the mountain? Oh, why is there a grave on top of the mountain? I actually have the answer to that. I guess we can head up there real quick. Pay our respects. So up here, this is the Tomb of the Unknown Villager. It represents every villager who has ever left the island. Because what happens after they leave? Do they go on to other pastures? Do they die? We don't know. So it represents them having left us. To have never returned. This is where we pay tribute to them. The Tomb of the Unknown Villager. Actually, we do actually now know what happens to them. They all head off to Paradise Planning. We have built so many houses for our former villagers over at the Paradise Planning place. So that is what... So, if the honest answer, that's what happens to them. But, you know... You gotta pay your respects somehow. To all those comrades we've lost along the way. I'm trying to think of any of their names. God, the only one I can think... I was trying to, think of, the Yellow Bear. Our second... Was it Tammy? Was Tammy our second villager? I think it started with a T, because it was Axel and Tammy. We've never seen her again. She disappeared one day, and we've never seen her since. She hasn't shown up at Paradise Planning. We have no idea what happens to her. For all intents and purposes, she's dead. Axel we know is still alive. Axel has shown up several times, and we know it's the same Axel because he even remembers living on the island. Whereas Tammy, who again I think was Tammy, who knows? Same thing with Kid Cat. We've seen Kid Cat. We've seen Big Top. We've seen Miranda. But I don't think we've ever seen Tammy. Again, assuming her name was Tammy. So that's what that represents. And it could be any of them. But it's one of them. Have you heard of the... Yo, you better believe I've heard of the new Pokemon game. What's this newfangled thing these kids are playing? Is it called Pokemans? Oh, I remember when I was a kid, and they had brand new Pokemons come out. They were gold and silver. Nowadays, you got your suns and your moons, your swords and your shields, and your legends. But oh boy, what a legend it was. I do tell, I do tell. What a mighty fine legend. I'm eating my macaroon. Give me a second. It's pretty good. It's a little, I guess, spongier than I would have thought. Oh, nice. So yeah, I've been playing the new Pokemon. I think I've put 10 hours into it over the past 24 hours. Which, for some people, that isn't a lot. Some people would have 24 hours in the past 24 hours. Honestly, 10 hours is pretty monumental for me personally. When the new Metroid game came out, I think I put 3 hours into it over 3 days. So 10 hours for me in the first day of this game's release. Not bad. Not bad if I do say so myself. It's really good. At least, I hope it's really good. I'm just enjoying going around, exploring the world, and catching Pokemon. That's fun. If I do have a worry at the moment, it's that one of the is how much you do in the open world. Because, right now you're just exploring and catching Pokemon, and I could see 40 hours of us exploring and catching Pokemon. Because I have no idea how long this game is going to take to beat. But I could see 40 hours of exploring and catching Pokemon eventually getting boring. I hope it doesn't, but I could see that happening. And just being realistic. Because, like, one of the things that I haven't given Breath of the Wild credit for, or that I'm going to, or correction, one of the things I'm going to give Breath of the Wild credit for right now is because Breath of the Wild's world is a post-apocalypse. As you explore, you find, like, the ruins of old houses, old castles, all this other stuff. Like, you find towns, right? Because people are still technically alive in this post-apocalypse. In Pokemon, you don't find any of that. It's just wild, unexplored lands. That's it. There are no civilizations, no towns. Not yet, anyways. And I do worry that, like, that's gonna... Right, with just finding old towns and whatnot, it's eventually going to become kind of repetitive. Like, if you're not finding any of this interesting stuff, that doesn't mean there isn't stuff to find. And, like, the game has already, like, I got to a point where it's like, oh, this is our Korok seeds. You know how, like, Breath of the Wild had the 900 Korok seeds to collect? Yeah, I've gotten to the point in this game where I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be our Korok seeds. Okay, now we're going to have to go get 900 of these. Okay. Admittedly, I don't think it's not as bad as Korok seeds, but, like, again, I'm trying to be vague here. Like, I'm giving details while being vague. Like, that's kind of the point I've gotten to, where it's like, oh, Koroks, okay. And there's a few other, like, there's another thing where I'm like, oh, hey, look, it's the memory. You know, like, in Breath of the Wild, you collected, like, memories to, like, regain bits of your past. There's something like that in here as well, where I'm like, oh, it's the memories. Okay. So it's doing stuff all right. And again, my concern is just a concern at the moment. Maybe as I get on into the game, maybe I will find that, oh, hey, guess what? This new open area just has a straight-up village in it. That, guess what? Because the Diamond and Pearl clans have to live somewheres, right? I doubt they just live in a bunch of tents, right? So, like, if in one of the open worlds we stumble across their area, I would be like, okay, that makes sense. If that happens eventually. But again, I'm very early on into it. But yeah, it is fun just going around, catching Pokemon, battling Pokemon. The battle mechanics, it's classic Pokemon. I do think they have streamlined things, though. Because something I noticed is, there are moves like Calm Mind that raise your offense and your defense. But I think for this game anyways, they've streamlined it in special defense, and like, you know how like the physical special split happened in Pokemon? No, okay, wait, let me rephrase this. In Gen 1, physical special split was something different. In Gen 1, there was attack, defense, and special, which was, special was both special attack and special defense. And then in Gen 2, they split up, I think it was Gen 2, maybe it was Gen 3, but I think it was Gen 2. They split up special attack and special defense. Well, this game has, I think, as of this moment, has combined special attack and attack. Has combined defense and special defense. So you just have and they're now called offense and defensive traits. So in that way, they've streamlined the battles. There's the new battle like scrolls, the agile scroll and the strong scrolls, which I have used, but I haven't used too much. And, like, sometimes I don't get, like, how the scrolls work, because sometimes Pokemon go, like, twice in a row, and I don't get why. Like, if they're using the scroll, I would think the game would tell me, but it doesn't. And yet, even though the turn order is, like, me, them, me, them, me, them, sometimes it'll go me, them, and then me again. And, like, I see no, like, logic to it, but it has happened that way. And I know you can use, like, agile style to, like, get around that, but I'm still not entirely sure sometimes. But yeah, the new styles are, in theory, very interesting. But yeah, other than that, like, the battling, like, it's the exact same way, like, battling has always worked in Pokemon. An aspect I didn't realize this until a little ways into the game. But, instead, like, you know how, like, in Pokemon, eventually as you level up your Pokemon, they learn new moves. And then you have to delete old moves to replace them with new ones. Yeah, that's not how, like, you can, like, I went through a decent portion of the game not learning any moves, and I was like, why ain't I learning any new moves? And I looked into it, and it was like, oh, it's because you can manually change moves. So, like, so how it works now is instead of, like, having, like, oh, 4 moves, and if you want to go relearn an old one, then you gotta go talk to a move tutor. No, your Pokemon has a moves list, and you just pick which 4 you can use at any time. So, like, let's say I got rid of, let's say I taught my Pokemon, like, Calm Mind, and then I got rid of it, I can then just go teach it Calm Mind again. Like, it doesn't, these are both fake, it doesn't matter. It, like, doesn't, like, you can just straight up change moves on Pokemon. And I'm like, okay, I was like, that's an interesting quality of life improvement that I actually kind of like. Like, I wouldn't, like, if you because, like, one of my problems with recent Pokemon games has been, like, I like quality of life improvements. I think, like, things like the EXP share, great quality of life improvements. But I do think quality of life improvements can go too far. Specifically, Gen 8 gives you Fly way too early, right? You get Fly within, like, the first, like, I don't know, like, hour of the game. That's way too early to get Fly. And then, at any point in Gen 8, and also the Diamond and Pearl remake, you can, while you're in your, like, Pokemon screen, you can hit R to access the PC. So you can access the PC at any point. I mean, I know there are exceptions, like, I don't think you can access it in a gym or while fighting the Elite Four and whatnot. But you know, and I was like, that's a step too far. The fact that I can access my PC at any point, I personally play the game with a home rule that I just can't do that. Because I think it's kind of cheap. Or I can only do it, like, while I'm in the Pokemon Center. Because, you know, usually accessing your PC from your inventory is faster than booting up the PC in the Pokemon Center. But yeah, that's just a home rule I play with. But, this, like, getting rid of like, a move tutor and just being like, oh yeah, if you want to go back and re-give your Pokemon Calm Mind, you can totally do that. Is, like, in some ways, I'm like, does this feel kind of cheap? But on the other hand, I'm like, no, this is really cool. And there are some moves, like Ember. Like, I'm never going to reteach something Ember. Probably not, anyways. Maybe this isn't that bad, actually. Maybe this is a decent quality of life improvement. I think it would make more sense if, like, you know, like, if they were to implement this into the mainline games, I would think you should only be able to do it at Pokemon Centers. But I think it's like, yeah, no, this is actually a fine change. Which, admittedly, I think they kind of did in recent games. I think in recent games, they got rid of the heart scale thing and just made it so that you could reteach at any center. Maybe. I don't remember. It's been a while, and I don't think if they did, I, like, only ever used the feature once. But I was like, yeah, and because of that, your Pokemon can just keep acquiring moves, and if you don't change the moves, then you'd never notice. It took me a minute to realize it, but yeah, once I did, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting mechanic change. The mechanics of catching Pokemon are, you know, you just walk, you're hiding in the tall grass, you sneak up on a Pokemon, you throw a Pokeball, you catch it or you don't. From there, it either runs away or you gotta fight it, and when you fight it, you got a better chance at catching it. And I was like, oh, that's okay. I think the catching mechanics work good. It's a hybrid between like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and like the mainline games. But I think it actually it streamlines Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, because you don't have to like enter a special battle screen and whatnot. And you know, in a future iteration of this game, I could totally see it where you never enter a battle screen. In like a generation or two, I could see it where you just never enter a battle screen and it's all seamless. Because you do right now, but it's very quick. Yeah, one day this is all going to be seamless, and that's going to be awesome when that happens. But yeah, I think the catching mechanics work fine. It did take me a moment to realize, because the balls don't shake anymore. You know how like you got to wait for the 3 shakes? Yeah, no. Instead, it's all based on like the ball will like smoke. And, the less smoke, the better. So if the ball smokes, once, then you're good. Usually. It's not 100% in either direction. But, like, if the ball smokes once, then, yeah, you know, you've got a good chance of actually getting it. But if the ball smokes 3 times, and it, like, hops up in the air a bunch, then no, your chances are very slim. Not impossible. I've seen catches on 3 smokes. I've seen catches on 1. I've seen fails on 1. But yeah, so it takes you a minute to like realize the system. And I like how the crafting elements work, where as you just explore the world, you find items, and you just craft stuff, right? Like, oh, I found apricots. Well, hey, now I can craft Pokeballs. Hey, look, here's some stuff. Now I can craft Great Balls, and you unlock recipes and whatnot. I feel like the crafting naturally implements into the game really well. There are no Poke Centers. And, like, there was even, like, a thing where I was like, oh, you must be, like, where I heal my Pokemon. No, they actually won't. They even tell you, like, oh, go heal your Pokemon your damn self. They don't say it as harshly as that, but they're like, do it yourself. If you want your Pokemon healed, do it yourself. And I was like, oh, okay, game. You can heal your Pokemon by sleeping in a bed, but still, I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it's kind of like how the Crown Tundra didn't have Poke Centers, and I guess the Isle of Armor didn't either. Where there is places where you can stop to like take a rest, but no, with the exception of those few places, you're not going to find a Poke Center or anything like that. You're not going to... And those are very few and far between. Usually only where you enter the area. So I'm like, okay, it makes things feel a little bit more tense, or it makes you more self-reliant. That, oh, if you want to get your thing healed, then you're going to have to go to a healing area. Or you're going to have to make revives and potions and whatnot. Honestly, it makes you feel more reliant on items. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but when I play Pokemon, I don't use... Besides for, like, you know, items you put on your Pokemon, like, you know, like... What is it called? The Quick Claw, or the Mystic Seed. I think it's called the Mystic Seed. You know, like, items you give your Pokemon to increase their stats and whatnot, or the Focus Sash. I really don't, like, use items that much. Except for, you know, usually the Elite Four. But no, this game, I'm using items all the time. It really does encourage it. One thing I did have to get used to is to open up your inventory. Instead of, you know, I think every Pokemon games have been doing it differently for years now. I think, like, Gen 8 for Sword and Shield, it's X. X opens your, like, inventory to, like, save and everything. Which is really weird. And in this game, it's the top button. So it's, like, that button. The button that opens my quick select wheel, that's the button that like lets you save and lets you see your items and your Pokemon. And that I'm still not used to that. I still want to hit plus or minus. Oh, and then you hit minus to open up your Arc phone, which opens up your map. But what annoys me is that minus opens your map, but it doesn't close your map as well. You have to hit B to close the map. That irks me. Instead, minus just zooms out more. And like, because right trigger zooms in, but minus zooms out for some reason. And I was like, what? That's annoying. I wish it was just minus to open and close the map, and then I guess also B. That's something else I had to get used to. But no, and as part of the new inventory system, you can only hold, like, kind of like a Breath of the Wild, you can only hold so many items at once. There are no, like, weapon durability or anything, but you can only as you're, like, exploring the world, you'll find crafting materials, and guess what? You can only hold, like, I think it's, like, 20 items at the start of the game. And, of course, you can upgrade that as time goes on. But you're limited to what you can hold, so, you know, you have to think about, like, oh, well, what do I need? What do I want to get rid of? There's some stuff I haven't messed with. There are some systems in this game that I also think make it more complicated. Because I'm going to guess EVs and IVs aren't in this game. They might be, but I bet EVs are. I wouldn't be surprised if EVs are. But for some reason, I don't think IVs are in this game. I think it works a little differently, and that might be for the better, honestly. With a game like this, because this feels a lot like you do battle occasionally, but this game seems a lot less like battling is a lot less important than other Pokemon games. That's just kind of the vibe. You know, we're gonna sell a lot of this stuff actually. That's just kind of the vibe the game's given off, and I like that. I like that battling is less important. I mean, you still do it, of course, but, you know, it's just it matters less. You got other things you can do instead. We'll keep the acorns and the pine cones. The mushrooms, I just don't need. Just straight up. But yeah, so that's kind of that. So those are my impressions on the game. Just playing, like, that's how, like, the world works and everything. And there are some things I'm skipping over intentionally. Story-wise, I only want to talk about... I don't want to... Again, I'm trying to avoid spoilers here. Go play the game. I haven't given anything away, honestly. But I want to talk about one thing. And specifically, this is something that happens at the beginning of the game. And when I say beginning, I'm talking, like, the first minute of the game. This is how the game opens. But it was not in any of the trailers or anything, but it does... Oh, fuck, I just missed the store. Shit. It does technically count as a spoiler, I guess. Because, again, it wasn't in any of the trailers, but I do want to talk about this, because it answered a lot of questions, and all of a sudden I was like, oh... So I filled in these bushes are all holly bushes. So I got the final 2 holly bushes to fill this in, and hey, so now that's a closed gap. That's good. So the thing I gotta talk again, whatever, everything I've said so far, you can take as spoilers, you can take as not. You know, we were going into it today, but this is the one thing where I'm like, yeah, this is a story related thing, but it's the opening minute of the game. The opening, yeah, it's the opening of the game. So, oh my gosh. Okay. How do I want to approach this? Let's find out if this is real or fake. It's fake, obviously. I figured it was, but I had to check. So the game opens, and you know, this light asks you, are you a boy or a girl, and what's your name? And then next thing you know, you're floating through space, your phone is floating off, your phone goes into the light, you grab your phone, and you curl up in the light, and then you wake up on the beach. And then, like, you meet the professor, and he tells you, did you just fall out of a time, like a space-time portal? What? This game is a fucking isekai. However you pronounce it. you're a protagonist from, like, kind of like the Pokemon Mystery Dungeons games. Honestly, there are some Mystery Dungeons vibes here, and that's a good thing. Not like the roguelike stuff, but like just like elements of like exploring and catching stuff. But you know how like in the Mystery Dungeons games, you're a human who wakes up in another world transformed into a Pokemon? Yeah, you're a human from like the modern Pokemon world who gets isekai'd into the past. There's an anime whose name I don't remember, but it does like the exact same fucking thing, where there's a girl and she's in the present and she goes into like a shrine, and next thing you know she's dealing with like Obu Nobunaga. Odu Nobunaga. She's dealing with Nobunaga, and she's in the past, and as she goes into the past, she's like, hey, that looks like my teacher. Right? It's kind of like Wizard of Oz as well, where it's like, oh, people in the present look like the people in the past. Even though, again, these are the ancestors, probably. Right? Like, we've all known these people were the ancestors, but we always thought our protagonist was like the ancestor of, I think they're called Lucas and Dawn? And they might be, but we're also just an isekai protagonist. That's why we have the Arc Phone. Because the Arc Phone gets imbued with the light. Which I think even in the first minute they say the light is Arceus. I think it calls itself Arceus. But we know it's Arceus. Like, come on. That's why, because the Arc Phone never made any sense to me. Because you're in the past. You're literally writing the Pokedex by hand. Why do you have a modern cell phone? It never made any sense. But you're an isekai protagonist. That's why you have a smartphone. You know, you're in another world with your smartphone. It makes sense now. It's not, and it's like they constantly like bring up that you're the person who fell from the space-time portal, because you know you become a little famous along the way because you're the protagonist in the Pokemon game. But yeah, you're an isekai protagonist. You're like the Dawn or Lucas from the present who has then traveled back in time to like do this all. So yeah, that was really interesting. Talk about facilities. The cafe? Expanded, there we go. Yes. But yeah, that's like the one spoilery thing that, again, it's not in any of the trailers. But I was like, oh shit. Now, for some people, for me personally, that's enough justification to explain the smartphone. So we're just making a gallery upstairs. So, like that, me just being an isekai protagonist, I'm now like, okay, I'm fine with this. All, like, the shit I was gonna, like, all the shit I could give, like, the smartphone is now like, yep, that's justified. That makes sense. At least to me personally. I know to other people that's probably still gonna be a problem. And I don't blame them at all for that still being a problem. But for me personally, I'm like, oh, okay, you're an isekai protagonist. Yeah, that just makes sense. Like, seriously, that just made sense. I'm like, that explains the smartphone. That explains everything, really. So yeah, that's my one bit of spoilers. Other stuff has happened in the story. I'm not going to say anything else. Yeah, I can work with that. But yeah, that's how the game's going at this point. Which really, like, that caught me off guard. Just like straight up, oh, we're an isekai protagonist? What? But I think now that doesn't mean the game's like written itself a get out of jail free pass or anything. Like, I wouldn't go that far. Probably not anyways. But it's definitely helps. It definitely helps my like thoughts on things with like the Arc Phone, specifically with the Arc Phone. I'm now way more willing to cut that some slack. Okay, so I want to get... Okay, so let's actually talk about this. I think I know what I want to do with this. Okay, so I want to have a wall like this. I'm just trying to figure out the dimensions at the moment. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out the dimension, like how I want this to look more or less. Okay, so we're making a gallery, and I have a few ideas. These are just for spacing. Oops. So yeah, we're done talking Pokemon now. You know, I'm still gonna... I've put 10 hours into the game. I haven't explored much. I don't even have a team at the moment. Other than my... I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that, like, having a team doesn't exactly matter. That because of the way the game works, my team can totally be in flux with little to no problems. Like, the only thing I'm keep right now, like, for sure of, is that whatever my 6th party slot is always going to be one of the alpha Pokemon. I've changed it, like, 3 times at this point. But other than that, in my first slot, it's going to be my starter, obviously. Other than that, though, I'm open to everything. Because one of the nice things is, like, the UI changes. Like, if you want to change what Pokemon you're using, you don't have to open a menu. You just hit a button, right? You just hit a button, and boom, that changes the Pokemon you're using. There are a lot of nice UI changes here that really, like, quicken things up. That, like, oh, like, when you get XP, nope, the game just continues playing. You just get XP in the background. You learn a new move, that happens in the background. Pokemon evolves, the game doesn't even stop to evolve your Pokemon. If you want to play through this game without a single evolved Pokemon, you can. Because the Pokemon will never evolve. I mean, you can do that in the default games as well, but Pokemon never evolve by themselves, and I think that's really interesting. But yeah, there's been a lot of, like, streamlines here, and I think that's really interesting. And it works really well, actually. The one problem is when you're in a battle, you hit X to change to your Pokeballs, hit ZR to throw a Pokeball, and then hit A to confirm. On more than one occasion, I've hit X, then I forgot to hit ZR and went to hit A, and ended up just attacking and killing whatever I was fighting. Luckily, you can change that in the menus. One of the options is to get rid of that final press of A, so it's just X and ZR, and that streamlines everything. So make that change. That's my word of advice. Make that change. But yeah, okay, I gotta stop talking about Pokemon now. The more I talk, the more I potentially get into things. So we've got Gallery here, and Gallery can be whatever we want it to be, right? It could be all this art, but I have another idea. I have a better plan. Potentially. So we've got all this art. But you know what else we do have? These. So I'm going to actually start... I'm going to start right here. I want to line the wall with everyone's poster. Because, you know, it's a cafe. This isn't like a high art institute. This is a cafe. I want it to be more casual. And you know what makes sense for casual? All of our villagers being represented here. Everyone who we've built a house for. I'm just doing it in what order they're presenting it to me here. I thought it was alphabetical. It might be it might be like when we got them to move to the island. Okay, that actually doesn't seem right either. But I know there's probably some order to things. But yeah, that's how... Maybe it's done by species? I mean, two mouses next to each other, the squirrel. Maybe it's done by species. Yeah. Yeah, because all the wolves are next to each other. Okay, I'm going to make one... You know I have to make this one change. Of course I do. But yeah, it just... You know, because the only one of these posters I have ever used is, Whitney's. Or is, not even Whitney's. We have Whitney's framed photo. The only one of these posters I've ever used is, Pietro's. Which was originally for the Beautiful Vision thing, and then I moved it elsewhere, and... Okay, Okay, we actually don't have that many more. We got Nan. Again, this would be a great moment that if I could display... If I could display these posters in the middle. Like, if I could display them on the wall, like on those weird walls that we build, that'd be so much better. I guess... I'm gonna put you here. I'm gonna put Yuka next to the other one. And I'm gonna take Meringue. I'm gonna put Meringue and our three cephalopods. Or in our three cephalopods, I mean. Yeah. And then we're actually gonna move them down one. Alright, so that's every villager who we've ever built a house for in the Happy Home Paradise. See, we could have also done this with KK Slider album art as well. Now, for the rest of the room, what tables do we have for the cafe? I'm actually curious. Okay, that's very big, actually. I'm looking for a simple... Is this a low table? Oh, that's a bench. Okay, that's a bench. I'm looking for a good table. A good table. Because guess what? We're displaying more stuff. I don't want a low table, but I do want a 2x1. We do have displays. Do we have those anywhere in here? And I don't know how big they are either. I think they're in this section, though. Or under, you know, the big section. Yeah, we have these lit display stands and not lit display stands. Actually, I think light would probably work best. Hey, Ashia? Want one more. And then we can duplicate that. And put them over here. Duplicate that. Put it over here. So, I'm doing good. I've been playing Legends Arceus, you know. It's been good fun. So now for these other displays, so we've put portraits on the wall. But we've got these display stands. And I'm gonna put the photos on here. The, you know, these. Which we have... It's, like, we do have other people's photos. Like, we have Bob, Coco, Sid, Whitney, Audie, Cousin Pietro, Audie, Whitney, Cousin Pietro, Sid, who... Okay, so that's 5. Who else do we have on our island? We have Zuck. Zuck's living there at the moment. Who? Marshall. Marshall's living on our island. We have Peck. And we have Sasha. And I don't think I have either of their portraits. Do I not have Peck's portrait? Oh, there's Peck's. I guess I just don't have Sasha's. Because they'd be a rabbit. Yeah, so I literally have everybody but ones. I don't think I have... Do I have Axel's in here anywheres? No, I don't. Yeah, Villager Gallery. Who do I put as the last... I guess we could put Brewster, just because we don't... We have a portrait for all of our villagers except for one. So I guess I gotta start working on that to get that last one. I guess we should start working on Sasha. Because we have everybody else's. And now we've got all these outer ones. Which, you know, I gotta put some other ones. Olivia. Let's just put some of the ones I like. I want to get Lone in there. I gotta get my boy Octavian. Actually, you know what we could do? We have portraits of people who used to live on our island. I guess we could put the Paradise Planning photo there. What? Do we have the portraits of people who used to live... So who used to live on our island? Did we put Lucky's photo over here? No, we didn't. Okay. So Lucky used to live on our island. Carmen used to live on our island. Who else? Bianca used to live on our island. So did Rolf. None of these did. Shari didn't. The other monkey did, not Shari. Nan used to live on our island. Yuka used to live on our island. Oops. Alright, we'll make more space if we have to, but... I'll figure out a way. Yuka used to live on our island. Marina. And Octavian. I'm sure there are others. Or is that everybody? Coco still lives with us. Sid currently lives with us. Marshall currently lives. Whitney and Audie. Dom visited once, but he never lived with us. Yeah, okay, this might actually be easier than I thought. Get rid of you. Okay, let's get rid of the Paradise Planning one, actually. And then we can take these 3 chuckleheads and move them over. So the inside is the villagers who currently live on our island, again, except for Brewster. I mean, Brewster kind of. And the outside is everyone who used to live on our island. Yeah. And then all the posters on the walls are everyone who has lived in the Happy Home Paradise. And I know it's up to date because Freya right there was who we moved in yesterday. So yeah, this is our villager gallery. The island, our former residents, and everybody in the Happy Home Paradise. And I can always add on to this in the future. As more people move here, yeah, there's always room for more. I wish we could put posters on the walls, but... And you know what I bet? I bet we could have posters for everyone who lived on our island if we just bought them. Because Pietro doesn't live in the Happy Home Paradise. But we have his poster. Where is it? I'll find it. Give me a second. We have... Pietro... We never moved Pietro to the Happy Home Paradise. But we have it because I bought Pietro's poster. I bet if I were to buy these other villagers' posters, I would have them as well. Still, I still want to display the main 10 as photographs. So we got to remember to start working on Sasha's photograph whenever... Probably starting tomorrow because shop's closed right now. But yeah. And I think we have the ability to buy posters for everyone. Including people who showed up in the finale only. Like, Agents 2 and, I think, 4? Or 3 and 4. Agent S and, whatever Agent 4's name is. I don't remember. Because there were people who only showed up in the finale. But because I had to bring them back through Amiibo cards, we can buy their posters. Yeah, that's totally an option. But yeah, I think that's the gallery. Admittedly, this isn't entirely how I envisioned it. But, you know, it's good enough. Again, I wish we could put posters on these middle walls. And part of me wishes we had more posters. Like, if I could do every row too thick, like this back row where I could do it, like, too thick, I think that would look better overall. It would look very crowded, and I mean, it already kind of is, but... Honestly, I think this is fine. It holds a certain sentiment to it. You know, basically everybody who's ever lived on our island. I think there's something special about that. Again, we gotta get Sasha's photo, but after that, yeah, I think that's good. I also don't think I have Bob's photo either. We have Bob's photo in the Happy Home Paradise. Oh wait, I didn't want to change the name of the cafe. No, I won't. Orange is still a fine name for the cafe. Yeah, we gotta start working on Bob and I actually should check the house collection when we get home, just to see who I have. Oh, look at that kangaroo. That's a cool customer right there. Where's my... Honey, where's my super suit? I have no idea where my phone is. I was gonna look up something, and I have no idea where my phone is. I would love to get a picture of them looking at themselves. Like someone looking at their own poster on the wall. That would be so funny. I have no idea where my phone is so that I can check something. What's up? Let's go back. All right, that's the gallery. Yeah, no, it came out. It looked a little different in my head, but that's not a. I am working within the limitations of Animal Crossing. I think that's fine. Yeah, I'm finished. So it says we can set up a theme. I wonder if we have to. I bet we have to talk to her about that, but. It's no big deal. Did we grab the bottle already? I think we did. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. Where could my phone... It's not there. I have no idea where it is. Oh, I bet I left it down the hall. So so even though I've been playing Pokemon all day, I did have people over tonight for a board game night. That was still on the docket, and we played a game I hadn't played before, Just One. So I'd seen Achievement Under play Just One. I had heard the Dice Tower, which I don't really listen to other people talk about board games. Not really. But out of all of them, the only one I kind of even give like a passing glance to is the Dice Tower. And the Dice Tower, I remember hearing them talk about how good Just One was. And and every time I see it on, like, when it goes up in, like, stores or whatever, it always just sells out immediately. So when I saw it go up, and I was like, oh, purchasing that, okay. And, yeah, I enjoyed it. So how it works is you pick a card, and then you pick a number between 1 and 5, because there are 5 different words written on the card. And then everyone else writes down, like, one clue. And you only got a single word, right? Just one word. You share your clue with the other people, and if 2 people have the same matching clue, then the person trying to guess the word no longer gets those clues. So, right, theoretically, you could have 5 people write down this. It was a group of 5 of us playing. You could have 5 people, so 4 of them would write down the same word, and the person guessing the word gets no clues. Didn't happen. We had several times 2 people gave the same word, and then the person guessing only had 2 words to work off of. But yeah, it's another word game. It's a really good word game. It's fun, right? That limitation of right, if you use the same word, it really makes you get. It's like kind of like code names, and like code names you get in your head and start like overthinking things, and that kind of like when you're this does that as well, where when you're like trying to think of a word, you get in your head and are like somebody else is going to write down that word. Like one of the words was revolution. So they were trying to guess revolution. And my first thought was, oh, American Revolution. Oh, somebody else is going to write down American Revolution. So I'm going to do the second one, Russian Revolution. And then we all flipped the things to, compare to make sure there are no duplicates. And nobody wrote down American Revolution. We all got into each other's head, and nobody wrote down American Revolution, American as a response. So as a result, I don't think they actually ended up getting that one. Or there was another one that was like Vegas, and someone wrote down like, I think someone wrote down gambling. 2 people wrote down casino, so casino was out, and then I wrote down new, because I know they knew what Fallout New Vegas was. And I was like, okay, that work, and it worked. They got that one. But yeah, sometimes it can really backfire. And sometimes you just get in your own head about it. But I think it's a good game. It's a good game. It's a fun game. It's simple. We did like 30 rounds in like an hour. I think you're only supposed to do like 13 or something. But no, we just did 30. We had basically a split. For every one we got correct, we failed one. It was an even split. I did terrible, honestly. I did terrible. So let's see. Of the people currently living on our island, we have Zucker, Pietro, Whitney, Audie, Peck, Marshall, and Coco. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we are missing Sid's photo, which honestly surprises me. I swear we had Sid's photo. We're missing Bob's photo, and we're missing Sasha. When did are Whitney, Audie, and Coco the only? There was a point where the only people were at one point there was only like a single guy on the island. It used to be all girls, and there was only a single guy, and I think that was Zucker. Okay, maybe there were two. And I think that was Zucker. And now it's just Whitney and Audie and Coco. Wow, that gender balance did flip at some point. I mean, Sasha's, again, my headcanon is non-binary, but they are within the game male. But that's just again, that's my headcanon. If you think they're trans as well, that's also a great headcanon. Because Lucky's no longer with us. We have 2 photos of Jolly. I actually know that. And I know why we have 2 photos of Zucker as well. It took me forever to get this photo of Marshall. But yeah, we gotta get Sid. So, okay, we gotta start doing fruit. It's actually super easy to do. This is actually gonna be super simple. But we will start that tomorrow. Will we do turnips tomorrow? We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think that's all I got for today. Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought I had... Why? Wait. Why don't I have... Because Sid's photo was in the paradise. Why don't I have a copy of Sid's photo? Did I... I don't think I put it on display anywhere. Oh, we gotta check... I was gonna end off. We gotta check the computer real quick. Oh, you know what? We're gonna do KK Slider as well. I always forget to do KK Slider. Let's fucking do KK Slider, shall we? I always forget. We're just gonna let him play a random song for us. I know there are songs we're missing. I think there's like 3 of them. Oh, speaking of, Sasha, what's up? Yeah, I know, we haven't seen each other. Let's also say hi to Whitney, because they're right here. But yeah, I'll start bringing Sasha, all 3 of them fruit. Yeah, it's weird we don't have Sid's photo. Because I think we would. Huh. How peculiar. Okay, let's check the computer. I know we have both of those fences. Nook shopping. Okay, let's check. Unless, of course, photos just don't show up in here. I would think they would. Oh, look at all those Zodiacs. It's weird they're seasonal. I wish you could buy seasonal stuff out of season. Just, like, only if you had already gotten it. Yeah, I guess photos just don't show up in here. I mean, it makes sense. It's just kind of weird. Yeah, because it would have been right there. At least I think it's CY. Yeah, whatever. Oh, but actually, you know, while we're in here, I can show... You see all these posters? Like, Agent S. Yeah, Agent S was never... Agent S was 2? Then I guess Big Top was 3. Yeah, we have all these other posters we could get. For all the characters who showed up in the finale. I mean, do you remember Monique showing up in the finale? She did. Oh, he's called Rocket. Or she. I honestly don't remember. Agent 4. Tammy. I was right. It was Tammy. We don't have Sasha's poster yet, do we? Yeah, I think we have to earn it or whatever. Do we have Pecs? We have Pecs. Do we have Sids? Yeah, we do have Sids. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, we should totally work some of these into the museum eventually. Not now, of course, but eventually. Because I think, again, that's more or less everyone from this show. Like, there's probably like 2 or 3 people who just have never, Phyllis, who was only on the island for like 3 days. Yeah, no. I think it was Phyllis anyways. We're just gonna, it's been a long time. Let's just see what they give us, and then we'll find out if that's something we don't already have. I doubt it. I bet it's something we already have, but, let's just jam out. Robot Synth. I haven't heard that one before. That name doesn't sound familiar. Let's just jam out. Right on, man. That was like unreal. Yeah, whatever. I got a copy of it. So I found my phone. I got up real quick. Because what I did was I put it on the bookshelf. And I put it like vicariously hanging on the edge. So that way I would remember that I put it vicariously on the edge. And I wouldn't forget about it. But I didn't notice it, so I completely forgot about it. Right? At any moment, it could have just fallen over. It didn't, but it could have. And I was going to search up something and I completely forgot what. So, yeah. Okay, did we have Robot Synth? Yes, we do. What the fudge is Robot Synth? Robot. Is it called KK Robot Synth? Yeah, okay, it's called KK Robot Synth. Jake. Oh, it's that? Okay, that is one of the new songs. Which is why I didn't recognize it, but it's one of the new songs that we had already had. Oh, we can just shuffle it all day and all night. You know what we always go back to at the end of the day. Best song. Actually, admittedly, I do think I have kept it on Drive-In for a while now. Drive-In. Drive-In's pretty good. I have to... So, as you know, the finale's coming up anywheres in the next 24 to 2 months. And I've already started thinking about what I'm going to do for the finale. I already know exactly what I'm going to do. I don't know how it's going to look, but I have the idea in my head. But I've come to realize, like, oh, I'm going to have to do the version with the copyrighted music, and I'm going to have to do the version without the copyrighted music. Oh, what KK Slider song I'm going to use for the non-copyright free music. Again, it's all copyrighted, but, you know, one is fine on Twitch, the other isn't. Speaking of the... So thinking of the posters we used, this is still... Yeah! Look, there it is. Oh, that's funny. I think that's funny. Probably, it actually would have been faster just to pull it out like that. Whatever. The other reveal was more dramatic. From, yeah, when we had the sad chair. The sad chair. Yeah, whatever. Whatevs. So that's where we're really ending off. For realsies this time. I'm going back to Pokemon. Oh, I did figure out how to... Oh, you're coming in right as we're ending off. But hey, there's always tomorrow. Sad to say. Yeah, no, I'm going back to Pokemon. Maybe. Either that or I'm going the fuck to sleep. I mean, I actually woke up early this morning to play Pokemon. I didn't sleep in like I normally do. Well, okay, technically I slept in more than I would on a normal day. But, like, I didn't, like, sleep in until, like, noon, which is what I normally do. Because, admittedly, I didn't stay up until, like, 5 a.m. It happens. But it's back to Pokemon. I gotta put another 20 hours into the game. So tomorrow we are either doing turn-ups or we are doing the other, an other thing. What is that other thing? I don't know. But we're either doing turn-ups or we're doing an other thing. Oh. I know you know, that's where we're ending off. Oh, I did, if you're on the YouTube backlog, I did get caught up on the YouTube backlog. While I was playing Pokemon, I was uploading all, like, the past week's Animal Crossing, because I was so behind in the VOD. But those are all up now on YouTube, so, yeah. But yeah, that's where I'm ending off. I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.